I want my husband to earn more than
20K
Okay, so what is that?
because it is a huge amount of money to provide the needs of my future family.
Actually, if I would be asked like that, I would love my husband to earn like around 100,000 a month, so that he would be able to provide for the whole family and also to buy some stuff for ourselves. Yeah.
That's gonna be around 30 to 40,000. That's in peso because I think the average here in the Philippines is like 15 to 30. But if you have wants and needs, let's say for example, if you want to like have a little bit luxurious things, then you can provide that kind of amount. For my future husband, I would recommend like 30K a month. Yes, for our future, for our
Okay,
future, for our future household. Yeah, that.
okay.
Worth of 25 and 30K a month.
20K for our future family.
Actually, my husband is earning 10K, and with my work, since that I am a call center agent, we are just earning exact money that we can spend in our daily needs.
Then I mean I would prefer a higher amount. An average would be 20K to 50K or 50,000, because I mean living here in Cebu or in Philippines, it's very expensive, so we really need to have that money in order to survive. Yeah, that's all.
30K.
Ladies and gentlemen, it had to have been about a week or so ago that I put out a particular video entitled How Rich is Rich to a Filipina. I will try to link that video in the description area below so that you guys can get an idea of what we were talking about in that particular video. But today, ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to the email chain gang for sharing this particular video with me that I personally believe has all the implications and everything that we need to know as foreigners in reference to how much most average Filipinos believe a foreigner needs to make if they want to be a husband to a Filipina, right? If you're a foreigner, you're looking to marry a Filipina, this is what they believe would be more than enough for them to be able to basically take care of themselves, you, of course, them, and then if you guys choose or opt to have a family. So shout out to, I want to make sure I get the channel name right. It's called Interviews Around. I'm gonna leave the link in the description area below for the entire video. I'm just gonna put clips here so that you guys get an idea of what they're talking about. But basically, if you listen to the interviews and the young ladies talk about how much a foreigner needs to make or how much money do they want their husbands to make, it ain't even really just about foreigners, but how much they want their husbands to make in general, what you will hear is the general number ranges. Typical, average, realistic numbers range between as low as roughly about 20 to 25,000 to upwards of about 40 to 50,000 pesos on an annual basis. That would equate for somebody like you and me living in the Western world, or more specifically in the United States, if you're paying with the dollar, roughly about $1,000, right? 50,000 pesos is roughly equivalent to $50,000. Of course, the rate is a little bit higher now, so it's not as much, but on the average basis, if it's $1 to 50 pesos, you're looking at about $1,000 for 50,000 on an average monthly income. That's not too far-fetched for a foreigner to be able to make, right? That I don't honestly believe that that's hard for a lot of people to come by. I think that even if you worked a regular minimum wage job at a McDonald's or something like that, you can make that type of money. Now, let's make sure that I preface this by saying, although the money is not a lot, I do believe personally you're going to need more than what most Filipinos believe you're going to need in order to be able to live a comfortable life in the Philippines. And I do believe that a lot of these young ladies are not necessarily factoring in inflation and things like that. Maybe they are, but for the most part, 20,000, 30,000 is just for you to basically live. You're probably not going to be thriving very much on 30,000 pesos, which is roughly about, I want to say $600. You're not going to be doing very much with $600 in the Philippines. Now, we've had videos before. I've made videos like this. Can you survive off of $500 or $600 a month in the Philippines? Absolutely, you can. You'll be surviving though, not so much thriving. I'm not sure the type of apartment you're gonna get. I'm not sure the type of foods you're gonna eat. I'm not sure where you're going, what types of activities you're gonna participate in. But if you're a regular, average, everyday Joe and you're just really just looking to live in the Philippines, you're not looking to really do much, $500, $600 is cool, right? $1,000 is cool. I've personally set a mental goal of about how much I want to earn on average. It changes every time, but I've got it settled down to a particular range. I'll share it with you if you guys want to know, maybe in a later video or even in the comment section. I've talked about it before, and it hasn't really gotten so far away from what it's been in the past. But in reality, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it from what we really need to talk about it from. Filipino women, for the most part, and I'm only speaking for Filipinas because I'm pretty sure it's probably the same in DR, Colombia, and Brazil, places like that. But I can only speak for the Philippines because this is where these particular interviews are coming from. But they don't really ask for much, right? Money-wise, like your average, everyday, good, humbled young ladies don't really ask for much, right? There was one particular young lady in this interview, if you ever come across it. Again, I encourage you guys to watch the video, support the channel. That said, I just want my husband to make more than me. Right? She was talking about, you know, so that we could be equal, we could work together and stuff like that. And this is what a lot of women want, right? Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of them out there that want a guy to take care of them and do this for them and do that for them. Take them on lavish vacations, take them here, take them there. But your average, everyday, humbled young lady from the Philippines ain't looking for that. They just want to be able to have a roof over their heads, nice, comfortable place to live, and, you know, a safe space for them to be able to take care of, you know, your family and stuff like that. So when you hear 30, 40,000, honestly, yo, that's doable. A whole lot different than if you hear a young lady talk about, $100,000, man. He got to make that minimum, right? He got to be a six-figure earner minimum. And that's the type of energy you hear a lot coming from women in the West. There was one particular young lady that did say 100,000 pesos a month in the Philippines is more than ideal, and I do believe that she's probably the closest to being correct in what I would believe a foreigner, and I'm only speaking for foreigners because I'm pretty sure it would be extremely difficult for your average everyday Filipino guy, salute to my brethren out there, to be able to earn that type of money. But for us, with the conversion rate and all of that stuff, $2,000 is what it would equate to roughly. That's not too far-fetched, right? That is not too hard to accomplish, right? I make that type of money in a part-time gig, right? You know, so it's not too far-fetched to believe that type of money is doable, right? Especially if you can digital market and do all of that stuff right there to be able to live a life overseas. But when she said 100,000, I said that's probably close to about what most average Filipinos would probably want their foreigners to make, right? And I was listening to it, and I'm trying to recall what she said, but you know, she just wanted to be comfortable, man. And I do believe that it's gonna take for us as foreign men to be comfortable and live a comfortable life. I do believe it's gonna take roughly about that type of money, roughly about 100K pesos a month to be able to live a comfortable life. Now, I got a lot of my guys that say, Doc, you kind of lowballing it there, player. I'm gonna need about 5 racks a month minimum. And again, lifestyle choice plays a lot into how much money you're gonna need on a monthly basis. But it did somewhat confirm a lot of what I said in my previous video about how rich is rich to a Filipina. It's mindset, right? Purely based on mindset. Because in the Philippines, 30, 40, 50K is a grandiose amount of money. No different than it is in the United States. You hear 50 racks. Now, as long as that's not annual, like every year, you know, that's a lot of money. If somebody was making $50,000, it's the same thing, right? If somebody was making $50,000 a month, you're like, yo, bro, that's a lot of effing money, right? No different than somebody making 50,000 pesos a month in the Philippines, right? So again, it is based purely on mindset. And when we talk about the dollar and things like that going a long way overseas, it's meaningful, it's impactful, and it's damn near true. But let's also say that when we talk about dealing with women in foreign countries, the majority of them, I'm not saying all of them because I don't speak for all of them, the majority of them just want enough to be able to live a good life. And if all they're expecting, let me make sure I preface this, if all they're expecting or hoping for is about $50,000 a month to be able to take care of the family and stuff like that, and you can supersede that and go above and beyond, we talk about being real comfortable, y'all. That's all I'm gonna say. We talking about king's treatment. We're talking about it all. All right. Now, I will say this before I end this video because this needs to be said. Just because your average woman in the Philippines is looking for, or is willing to accept, I should say, not looking for, but willing to accept 30, 40, 50K monthly, with the exception of the one lady that said 100K that I do remember. Don't stop striving to do more than what you can, right? Don't just settle, man. You always gotta want to level up. And I say that because I never want you to just be like, well, okay, well, all she said I need to do is 50K, so all I'm gonna do is 50K. Nah, you gotta want to do more for you. That's what I'm gonna say. You gotta want to do more for you. You've got to want more for yourself. You gotta want more for the life that you're trying to live overseas. And again, the crazy part about it is, this is what they're looking for, but a lot of y'all ain't even looking to get married anyways. A lot of y'all ain't looking to have girlfriends anyways, but it gives you a mindset of potentially about how much money you would need on an annual basis to be able to just live, cruise, and, you know, be comfortable. Again, I would hope that you guys can bring a lot more to the table than that, but if you can't, $1,000 can get you by in the Philippines. I will say that, and I will live and die by that, by saying that $1,000 annually is definitely a good amount of money to get you by. Again, it equates to about $50,000 a month. If you can bring that in and comfortably bring that in, you might be surprised at about, you know, the type of life you can live. Me, I know what I'm able to live off of because I lived in the Philippines for a long time. Again, inflation plays a major part in everything, but I know what I'm willing to accept, what I'm not willing to accept. I know what places I can stay at, where I feel the most comfort at, and all of that shit, and what I'm not, right? I know what price ranges work for me. I know what price ranges don't work for me. I know what, how much it's gonna cost me to get a good, solid apartment in the area that I choose to live in. I know what it takes. I know what it costs. You crunch the numbers, you'll realize I can probably make this shit work, right? But inside of it all, despite it all, you have to want to do better for you, A. B, you gotta want to do better for your significant other who you choose to be with. And C, you gotta want to make sure you have enough out there in these, you know, Philippine streets to have you a good old time. But ultimately, it comes down to the fact that you realize these women ain't looking for you to be fucking hella rich all the time. They just want comfortability, because you'll likely be providing them something that, from the foreigner standpoint, that they probably haven't had in their lives, or, you know, something that they've seen their father do for their mother and they just want it for themselves. It's not so much about the grandiose things in life. And I think that's pretty much what I would look at as like a humbling fucking experience. Like, yo, these women just want just something nice, a roof over their heads, just, you know, nothing extravagant. And a lot of times that's doable for a lot of people like you and me, right? That's my time, effort, and energy, man. Again, appreciate you guys locking in. Watch the whole video. I'll leave it in the description area below. If you guys want to send me anything, again, shout out to the email chain gang for this one. I think my brother JD sent this one to me. Shout out to my brethren. Yeah, man, you gotta check that out. You've definitely gotta check out the good doc, and definitely gotta send me some shit. MikeThePIGuy@gmail.com. Feel free to share, like, comment, and subscribe. Lost my train of thought there. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed, bro. Doc